It's definitely time we do some Q&A, guys. I've had a lot of questions come up. I think we should get on it. What do you think? Yeah, let's make a video. Hey guys, Pugz with the Dungeon here. Coming back to you guys live, kind of live. It's early in the morning. It is July 26th, and we've been a little bit behind on videos. So I want to post a video to you guys. Had a lot of questions lately come up. I haven't been able to do my video series. It's been a little busy at work. Had a lot of stuff going on at home. Dungeon's been crazy. So grab some time this morning to go ahead and answer a couple questions for you guys. And what we're going to do is just, try to fire through them, give you guys some input. And I try to do this a little bit more often. The original idea behind this was to go ahead and, be able to answer some questions that come up all the time, whether it's like a debated topic, such as like wet tumbling versus dry tumbling, or if it's something along the lines of, maybe somebody's got some questions about preference. Want to try to give you guys my opinion on it. Give you some facts to back up that opinion, and maybe some practical knowledge on how to use some of the stuff we're talking about. So today we have a question of, question one, nickel coated brass versus your standard brass. I personally use both. I don't load aluminum or steel cased. I know there's some controversy with that. You shouldn't reload steel, you shouldn't reload aluminum. I do know people who load both. It's not something that I personally am into or really care to deal with. It's more like I don't know if I have time for that, nor do I have enough stock for that stuff. So, but the nickel versus brass casings question is a pretty good one, I think. So, just to give you guys a little bit of background, nickel coated brass or nickel brass, it's been around for a while. It's corrosion resistant, and it's easier to feed into firearms versus brass. I mean, the surface is nice and slick and smooth, so you literally have, a less likely of a hang up anywhere. A lot of calibers are coming out in nickel. I know that a couple of my vendors have reached out to me to let me know of calibers that I never thought would be in nickel, but are, such as, the 224 Valkyrie, the 458 SOCOM, 6.8 SPC, just to name a few. Traditionally, we would see the nickel-coated brass or nickel brass on concealed carry, handgun protection ammo, specialty hunting rounds from manufacturers. So those are usually where you see the application. I do have my nickel-coated brass separate from my brass at home in the brass collection, and I do use both. Something to keep in mind. Nickel-coated brass generally tends to be a little bit more expensive than your traditional brass, but you also get less reloads per piece of nickel traditionally, or generally. It's not a guarantee you're going to get as many, even with the, when you anneal it, or even when you wet tumble nickel brass. Sometimes the coating tends to get thinner and come off a little bit. It's usually a sign for me when I see that I'm probably not going to reload that anymore and just toss it in the bin. But it's a good topic. The standard brass is obviously just fine. I mean, it's kind of stood the test of time over and over again, and you do get more reloads out of it than you would a nickel-coated piece of brass. So what do I use nickel for? Specifically, I only use nickel for specialty purposes. Same as if you would buy it in the store kind of deal. Like, I use a lot of nickel-coated brass for my 308, 30-06, 300 RUM, 7mm hunting rounds, 7mm WSM, 300 WSM. It's just, for me, A, easier to spot on the ground if I have to take multiple shots, and B, I don't shoot them that often. Also, with like hollow points and concealed carry ammunition, that's a whole nother topical debate, whether or not you want to reload personal defense ammo. Might actually address that in another video, but today is just an example. So otherwise, 99.99% of the time, I'm actually using regular brass, nothing fancy. No need to go there. So both are good, and I wouldn't hesitate to use either. All right, so the second question I got today was, what Shotshell reloading manual could I recommend to somebody? So, a little background on me and the dungeon. We do reload for 12 gauge, 20 gauge, 16 gauge, and 410. We have a myriad of loaders. I'd say that the 12 and 20s are on the Pugz Warren platform, whether they're a 375C, a 900B plus, or the Platinum 2000. There are go-to presses for bulk loads of our Shotshell ammunition. The 410 16 gauge, and we do have a 20. We also have in the Mech Junior 600 Mark IV or Mark V. They are both capable machines. I'd say we probably load, a couple guys are doing trap this year. This is our first year for trap. We're probably loading about, 1,000 rounds a month. So nothing crazy there, I guess. I personally have in the dungeon the Lyman 3rd, 4th, and 5th generation Shotshell loading manuals. There are numerous other ones out there. I haven't really ventured out to too many. But from my experience and a lot of other guys who have come down and used the equipment, we're kind of in agreement. I talked to the guys this past week that Lyman makes it really too easy. I mean, with Shotshell, it's a little bit different from metallic. You typically don't want to do load development with a Shotshell, unless you're an expert or a qualified person understanding of how it works. But the hulls, the wads, the volume and weight of the shot, the size of the shot, they all play a big factor, including the powder. And how that all gets put together is based on your press. So Lyman does, I think, a really good job of explaining all of that. We've continued to use Lyman. We haven't really branched out yet, but we have been talking. There's a company called Ballistic Products. They have a whole line of manuals. And we're actually exploring getting into it a little bit more since a lot more people are using shotgun. We've been casting slugs the last 2 years and have actually gotten really good results with the Lyman 525 grain Sabat slug. It's what looks like a giant pellet. We've got load development that we've done with that now that we're holding like a 4-inch group at 200 yards. That's kind of crazy if you think about it, and it's not costing us very much to make. I mean, the entire shell might cost us 50 cents in total to make versus, $2 to $3 a slug that you get from a store. Now, traditionally, the ones you get from the store have some kind of proprietary slug wad combination. We haven't gotten that far yet, but in our development, we've done pretty well. So we could talk about that in another video, but I definitely wanted to mention, we absolutely love the Lyman books. But if you have any of the Ballistic Products books and, want to either do a swap for a little bit, or if you guys have something you want to get rid of, feel free to let us know. We're interested. We just haven't gotten that far yet. We're working through it as we continue to load Shotshell. So the last thing I want to mention is that if you don't really need to get into the whole manuals thing with the Shotshell if you don't need to. I remember when we first started out, we were using the Hodgkins website because we were using a lot of the Hodgkins powders for Shotshell, and on their reloading homepage, they actually do have Shotshell for all different calibers. So you can definitely look there. They'll tell you everything you'll see in the Lyman books, and it's limited to their powders. But if you're using their powders or exclusively using their powders, then that'll definitely help you out there. And it's free and it gets you right in there. So what do we use? We use the Lyman books. But there's plenty more out there. Once we get some Ballistic Products books or some other companies' books, I'll definitely do a video on it. But Lyman will definitely get you through. We're doing tons of applications with it. Everything from trap, skeet, sporting clays, 5-stand, all the way through, heavy bird loads, migratory bird loads, turkey loads, the whole 9 yards. Including, we make our own shot. So, just food for thought. All right, the final question I'm going to answer for you guys this morning is, a lot of people ask me, what websites do you get your load data from? So, in the dungeon, we have a playbook. The playbook is something that we have built and dedicated to just the guys of the dungeon. The book is literally a handwritten book that has all of our data, all of our testing data, all of our special recipes for each and every rifle, right down to the specific rifle, not just generally speaking. We do have a section for general calibers like 9, 5.56, 308, things we're just going to use in like semi-autos or things like that, but we do have specific recipes per rifle, and I could show you what that looks like in an upcoming video about how to keep track of all of your reloading data. But I have a library of manuals. I think there's like 14 manuals, I think, in the Dungeons collection at this point. We always use it as a reference. We compare multiple sources from like multiple books to each other to see what company did what with what powders, what primers, what projectiles, and things like that. Things such as the Lyman manuals, the Sierra manuals, Hornady, Spear. I know I have a lot more than that. And we have several generations of these books as well. So there's never a bad thing. We don't throw those books away. We also have a lot of the old like shooting digest books that have like old school recipes and stuff in there because, you know, calibers such as the 30-06, the 270 and things like that, 243 that are older, you know, there was some good load data back then. Though patterns and things have changed since then, it's still good reference information. So we have the playbook, we use the books, the websites. That's really what this question was about, was the websites. There's a myriad of websites. I will put a list of those websites in the description of this video at the bottom so you guys can check them out. But there are tons of free resources. Disclaimer, do not use somebody else's data or even close to somebody else's data in your rifle. Don't take all of that stuff to heart. You want to go ahead and take whatever somebody might tell you and compare it to the books, to the websites, whatever the case may be, because you know it's a risk for you to take somebody's data. What if they mistyped some information to you or miswrote some information to you? Maybe they put the wrong powder. Maybe they meant to put IMR 4831, but really they ended up putting H4351 or 4350. I mean, it's very specific on that stuff. So you want to make sure that whatever data you get, you compare before you do anything with. We recommend at the dungeon, this is what I tell everybody who comes into the dungeon to reload, is that look at the data online. It's the most up to date. Then compare it to the books. Find your exact bullet, find out your exact powder, measure your chamber of your firearm so that you know what the coal can be, how far off the land you need to be. It's a little advanced, like don't let that deter you, but I mean, this is what I tell these guys, and I show them how to do all this stuff because it just makes for more accurate ammunition. Start from min and work up. I use another tool that's a little bit more advanced as well called Quick Load. Quick Load allows me to go ahead and do a lot of estimations and calculations quickly on the fly just by changing a few numbers. Between all of this information, this is kind of like the mythology of what we do in the dungeon. We compare so much information and then do ladder tests based off that information to go ahead and kind of like develop the best load possible. I wouldn't say we're the experts out there in doing that. We have our own process just like many other people do. But I like to think we go about it from a methodical standpoint and a pretty efficient standpoint, to be honest. So I'll put that link, group of links in the description below. I'll put like Hodgkin's, Shooter's World, Accurate's, and Barnes. Barnes is a bullet manufacturer. I'll put those websites down there because they tell you a really good amount of information to get you started, and it's free. It's public knowledge. So look forward to that, and check the links below. Last but not least, guys, I'm getting in some work early in the morning here at the office. So as you see behind me, it's not your typical reloading room in the dungeon or anything like that. So took a couple minutes this morning. Like I said, I wanted to answer these few questions. I'm going to put this little video together. But if you like this video and you want to see more of these videos, go ahead and give a thumbs up on the video. Also, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, subscribe to the channel. We don't have any monetization or anything like that. We're just trying to help reloaders become better reloaders. So if this seems helpful to you guys, so come on aboard. We got plenty more helpful stuff coming. And last but not least, I want to say thank you to everybody who's checked us out on Facebook, checked us out on YouTube. You know, we have our domain name is www.dungeonreloading.com. We'll take you to the YouTube channel. We're trying to grow our group over 1,000 people. YouTube went ahead and put in effect a restriction that if you don't have at least 1,000 subscribers, you can no longer do live sessions. So that kind of hurts a little bit, you know, because we were starting to get into doing loading sessions in the basement and answering questions, Q&A live. YouTube removed some of those because we didn't have enough subscribers at the time when they released that, even though we were able to do a few. So in order for us to do it now, we have to go ahead and use a webcam, such as I'm doing right now. Before we were using a cell phone, something that could be connected to the Wi-Fi, it worked out really well. But now we're a little limited. So we're trying to build that up. We're almost at 200 subscribers. When we hit 500 subscribers, I'm going to go ahead and do a giveaway. I got a Google Home Mini, I think we've got to give out to everybody. And we're going to do that one each for when the Facebook page reaches 500 and when the YouTube page hits 500. And then when each of the pages hit 1,000, we're going to be giving away something nice. So stay tuned for that. Again, like and subscribe to the channel. Check us out on Facebook, fb.dungeonreloading.com, and stay up to date with the information with us. Thanks. Have a great day, guys.